Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Koolzalot. You're cool, I'm cool, we're all super cool. So as you may know, I am trying to be on a little bit of a roll this weekend, catching up on a few videos. I had a nice Saturday here, chilling out. I am just about midway through quite a long trip here to Switzerland, and so I wanted to just take a moment to post a video on a very interesting and nice piece of data set that I just collected from the outbound trip to Switzerland, and specifically this is with the For All Family Voyager and using a gel pack. And so what I did here was I actually checked this into my luggage, which went from San Francisco International Airport to London Heathrow and then on to Basel, Switzerland. And I included temperature probes to collect the data to see basically exactly how this system would perform with the check-in luggage. But I guess you could also kind of extrapolate that this is how this unit would perform if you did it as a carry-on as well, because as you know, most international flights, the aircraft is pressurized. The entire aircraft is pressurized, including the cargo bay. So perhaps although the cargo bay may be a little bit colder, it is pressurized, and so it's probably reasonably realistic to extrapolate what this unit's going to do on this journey, whether it's checked in or whether it's carry-on. So let me jump on in and show you what I've got. This will be a quicker video because it's just focusing on the data for this, and then in about a week and a half, I will post the total video, because I'm also traveling with a USB For All Family Voyager as well. So I'm actually this trip is special because I have both a For All Family Voyager set up with the gel pack that was checked in, and also a For All Family Voyager that was with the USB battery pack that I took on with my my carry-on, and so there'll be a separate video that kind of kind of presents that data, but you've kind of seen that bit already. All right, so let me show you what I got. So here are my usual disclaimers. Feel free to pause this slide if you like. And just a quick peek at the journey, just to orientate you. So I think you've hopefully seen me do this one a few times. So basically traveling from the Bay Area, San Francisco, actually, I guess it's South San Francisco, the San Francisco airport. So going from the San Francisco airport to London Heathrow, there was a modest connection time. It was actually originally supposed to be 6 hours, but my outbound flight was delayed by quite a bit. So originally we were supposed to leave around 8 p.m. of the Friday. We ended up leaving around 10 p.m. and so my connection flight was just a little bit shorter. But I did make the flight from London to Basel, and that flight's pretty quick. It's about an hour and a half. And then, of course, when I land in Basel, Switzerland, it's a small journey to get to the hotel and so on. So door to door, it's around about 25 hours usually for this journey. All right, so let's keep on going. So as I said, this is just a quick video to focus in on the For All Family Voyager that I checked into my luggage, and using the gel pack. So just to orientate you on my setup, here on the left Actually, you can see me, this is me arriving in Basel with my multi-week kind of packing. Because it's a multi-week trip, I actually did check one bag in, which was this orange one. I do like to use straps with my bag as well. This has worked in my favor once in a while, where the zips kind of popped or broke, but the bag just holds nicely because it's got the straps. But anyway, here's the bag. So the Voyager unit was sitting in this bag, basically towards the base of the bag where the wheels are. So here you can kind of see this, my bag's open, and it was, as I'm showing here with my mouse, it was sort of in this position. And then what I also did was I wrapped the Voyager unit in some sports clothes. So I wanted it to not get damaged, and I wanted it to keep it nice and safe. And so it was, and so this sort of shows you what that sort of looks like when it's unwrapped. One immediate note to share was, of course, when I opened my bag up on arrival, the clothes that the unit was wrapped in were quite cold. So it was definitely the cold temperature was definitely kind of transmitting into the suitcase. And actually the suitcase itself, when you touched it, when you touched the surface of the case, you could feel that the area where the cooler was a little bit colder. So it was definitely venting cold. But the question here is, well, how well did it do in terms of temperature? So I have the data to show you. So let me keep on going here. I am for this story, I'm at the Marriott Hotel in Basel. So you might see the Marriott logo pop up now and then. So here's sort of just the coffee station area. I took a couple of pictures here just to show you, and actually now you can kind of see my my other for all family Voyager that's been set up with the USB cooler. And so I was actually using this to travel to transport my live medicine for this trip, and then the gel pack unit that I checked into my bag, I did not use live medicine. I just used dummy medicine because this was kind of a test run. So for data collection, I used two probes. I used a Templify probe that was sort of attached more towards the base of the injector pen. And then I also used a Tempo probe, which is kind of a newer piece of equipment that I've been kind of experimenting with. And I attached that slightly in a higher position. And then of course here you can kind of see how that looks in the setup. You can kind of see the For All Family Voyager classic kind of gel pack that they supply with their products. Not shown here actually was what I also did was I put a little bit of kitchen roll padding in the entrance area. I've just always known that the lid of the Voyagers is a little bit weak in terms of thermal insulation, and so I actually did stuff this entrance here with kitchen roll paper just to sort of pad it up. In terms of the setup, so when I left when I left, so on the Bay Area side, the gel pack had spent the whole night in the freezer, and the For All Family Voyager flask, as well as the temperature probes and the dummy injector and also the kitchen paper had all spent the night in the fridge. So they were all kind of acclimatized to the refrigerated temperature, which is around about 37 Fahrenheit. And then on the day of the trip, I waited to the very last minute to do the packing. Basically at the 5 p.m. mark on Friday, I took everything out of the fridge or the freezer and I packed it right away. So I didn't use any preconditioning for the gel packs. There's a lot of protocols where you sort of run them under hot water for a little bit, try and warm them up a little bit, that kind of stuff, so that they don't basically freeze your product because they're too cold. For the purposes of this test run, because it was a test run, I wanted to get kind of a baseline of how this would play out from a worst case perspective. And then with that baseline, then you can sort of build a strategy around how to maximize using this product for various trips. So just sort of keep that in mind. Anyway, I'll sort of walk you through that again as I show you what I have here. So let's keep on going. What I also did while I was at it was, so after I arrived, obviously the first thing I wanted to do was to see how long this gel pack setup would take to warm back up to room temperature. But I'm now in week 1 into this trip, and so after a few days it obviously warmed up to room temperature, and then I took this same unit and I put it in the mini fridge that's in the hotel room that I have. And I wanted to take a little bit more data to see how that would sort of play out, whether it would stay at the refrigerated temperatures that I was interested in. So here's kind of a picture of that setup. So you can kind of see my room here on the left, and then you can see sort of where the mini bar is, and then you can kind of get a closer look there. And then actually in this picture on the right now, you can kind of see this sort of little ball of kitchen roll that I'd used with the initial setup, where I'd sort of stuff that in the entrance of the cooler to give it a little bit more sort of thermal insulation. Whether that has actual practical value or not, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I was just trying to play around with a couple of ideas that I had, and so it is what it is. But I'm just giving you the lay of the land on what I did here. Oh, and by the way, if you know about me messing around and prototyping some signs or signage for my hotel room, to say please don't unplug this, or hey, this is a cooler unit, or hey, please don't remove the key card from the wall port to unplug. You can maybe just glance at those signs, and I'm gonna share more about my learnings with my signage prototyping to help staff and instruct staff on what to do or not to do when they come into my hotel room. And I think you'll find this interesting. So I'll post my notes on that in the next video, because this one's a very focused data download for you. So let's keep on going. All right, so here's basically the money shot. So let me walk you through the story. So you can kind of see, the ambient temperature play out here. It goes up and down a little bit depending on whether I'm on a plane or in the club lounge and all of that stuff, and so on and so forth. The most interesting thing, obviously, to zone in on is the temperature profile of the For All Family Voyager gel pack setup. So what you can see here is the very quick. So from the point of packing, so this was at 5 p.m. on the Friday. You can basically see the temperature fall very quickly. It actually, it goes down to sort of the 20 Fahrenheit mark. So as I said, though, I did not do any warming protocols, as that might be called, with the gel packs when I took them out of the freezer. So I didn't run them under water, or I didn't leave them sitting out for a little while. I just immediately put the gel pack into the flask, and so I wanted to get kind of a baseline. And so this is very obvious that this is going to happen, and so here you can kind of see what that looks like. So the flask temperature basically falls very quickly to sub-zeros, and then of course these temperature probes were attached to the dummy medicine pen that I sent with it. And so you can kind of see that if you don't do any preparation of the freezer gel pack, you're going to freeze your product, no doubt about it. So you have to be very careful here to either protect the product with some insulation or warm up the gel pack a little bit so it doesn't thermally shock your medicine product, or there's different protocols to play around with, and no protocol was executed here. So this is raw data. Okay, so then where it gets kind of interesting is that obviously at some point the flask and the gel do start to stabilize out into the temperature zone that's more interesting. So obviously ideally you're looking at 36 to 46 Fahrenheit, but certainly once you're above freezing temperature, this can become maybe a potentially manageable area for your medicine products. Typically a lot of these biologics and stuff, they say 36 to 46. They say 36 because from equipment to equipment, there's a little bit of variability, and all they're trying to do is just to keep you away from that freezing temperature, which is where the problem is. But if your product is hovering at 30, 34 or 35 or whatever, as long as that's a very precise temperature, and you're not creating a situation where you're going to fall. If you're actually going to fall to a freezing position, you'll be fine with your medication there. So it's do not freeze, or do not warm up above the 46. So something to think about. Anyway, so what's interesting about this profile then is basically from the point of putting it, taking it out of the freezer all the way to when it finally breaks that 46 Fahrenheit mark, I clocked 46 hours. So there's basically 46 hours that pass between the point of starting this experiment at my house, doing all the flights and so on and so forth, actually getting to the hotel room, and actually this thing continued for a few more days. And so on, and so that was kind of cool. So there was quite a nice little working window here to play with and maybe optimize if there is, if you are interested in doing a trip with the for all family Voyager and a gel pack. And of course, at some point finally it does really start to warm up and just go on off there back to room temperature. So then as I said later on, then I put this unit back in the fridge, and I wanted to kind of see how it behaved. And so interesting enough, it takes a while for it to cool back down. I think this is really an artifact of the fridge being a mini fridge and not having any fans and other stuff for air circulation. So it just very slowly and casually cooled itself back down. But it did ultimately make it, and it just sort of hung out there at the very edge of 46, so sort of in that 45 sort of Fahrenheit zone. So the hotel room that I'm in actually appears to have quite a reasonable fridge in terms of putting some medicine in there and kind of storing it. It was a little bit sensitive to whenever I opened the door, you could kind of see there was little blips and other things, and so one has to be careful with these little fridges because they will vent the cold as soon as you open the door. So yeah, kind of interesting. That's basically the data set for this. The little dotted line plot, that's actually the moisture. So you can kind of see a little moisture content plot, so if you're interested in that. And then the difference between the two probes here, one is the lower probe, or the lower temperature plot, is the Templify, and then the higher temperature plot is the Tempo device, and this little separation between the two makes sense to me, because as you get closer to the lid or the entrance of a thermos flask, it gets warmer and warmer and warmer. There's always a temperature gradient there, so this separation of temperature between the two positions is very logical. why there's sort of a little bit of a wave of the temperature profile. I think that's perhaps a little bit of an artifact of the fact that I was on a flight, and so obviously pressure, cabin pressure will have a little bit of an effect. So you can maybe see that just a little bit. And then with those gel packs, at some point they sort of go through a phase separation where they're transitioning from different gel states or frozen gel states or whatever, and they will kind of release energy in a varied kind of way as they do that. So there's a little bit of different things going on there that will sort of explain out why there's this sort of wave going on. But I'm not super expert in all of those details, but that's sort of the knowledge that I'm carrying for you. So, all right. So, in wrapping, as always, you have to be super careful of gel packs at the beginning. So you definitely need some kind of a protocol or a plan to protect your product from being exposed to freezing temperatures in that initial phase. But then once you've sort of sorted that out or protected your product in the right way, you have a very nice working window here for travel. And so here's the data that I collected on that. Looks to be about 46 hours. Let me show you an extra thing. And so the extra thing here is this little. So that's the same plot that I just showed you, but a little bit crushed up. And then here below, actually, the tempo probe that I have also measures pressure. And so what was quite interesting was to just have a look at that pressure plot. So you can kind of see here the pressure goes down. Actually, I'm not sure why it says a little bit of a mistake here. So this is millibars. So forgive me there. It shouldn't be Fahrenheit. This should be millibars. So you can kind of see the millibars goes down a little bit, and then it starts to drift back up. I guess this sort of follows the unit having gone through a high altitude cycle, and then returning back to earthly pressures a little bit later on. Why it sort of takes so long though? Because the flight part of the journey was here, but it sort of slowly works its way back up. This I'm not too sure about. Maybe the flask itself kind of took a little bit longer to kind of equilibrate or something, or maybe the temperature probe slash moisture probe slash pressure probe. I need to get more used to it to understand exactly how this data plot works. So yeah, more on that soon. But I just figured I'd quickly show that to you. So yeah, so that's kind of the story for this quick video. I hope this data is interesting to you, and I'm gonna call this one a wrap, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. Have a good one.